This is SportsRage. Level 2 has begun on the SportsGrid radio and television networks. We'll welcome SiriusXM Channel 159 back in a couple of minutes. All right, without further ado, let's not waste any time. Let's bring in Mick Aussie right now. Mick, we've got about 8 minutes, 7.5, 8 minutes here. We're in the middle of March Madness, but our audience are a bunch of hardcore degenerate gamblers. And there are AFL football games going on right now. And we've got, people are always looking for stuff after the tournament, right? We're going to get back to the tournament in a couple of minutes with Rob Vino. But people are always looking at it's that letdown. You've been betting all day. You've been betting for 12 hours. And it's like, ooh, the games are over. Well, we have AFL football going on. North Melbourne and Fremantle right now, Mick, have just started a couple of minutes ago. The Roos are up 13-6 on the Dockers right now. Current number, Fremantle are still minus 8.5-point favorites. They're minus 179 on the money line. The total is 172.5. Who do you like in this game, North Melbourne or Fremantle?
Oh, Gabriel, you should have me on 20 minutes ago because I got the Roos on the plus and it was 16.5. Still take the Dockers to win, but I like so many teams this week on the plus. The spreads are too high. Take the Dockers, I think, but it could be close.
Minus 179 on the money line right now. All right, Hawthorn and Melbourne coming up. Melbourne are minus 350 on the money line, minus 22.5-point favorites in this game. What about this one, Mick? Who do you got?
Yeah, reasonably confident on the Demons to win. They had a big win last week. The Hawks were with the Bombers till three-quarter time. Take the Demons to win. But again, I think the 22.5 is too much. And the Dogs are barking this round, mate. The underdogs have won the last two games, the last two nights. So it could be craziness in this round.
Sydney, the Swans, my nemesis. Shout out to everyone joining us on SiriusXM Channel 159. Yeah, the Sydney Swans, the team that I've grown to dislike the most in this league.
Isn't that Dubsy's team, the Swans?
Yeah,
he's a Sydney Swan.
Yeah, he's not a real hardcore. He's like,
he bets
like I told, we love Dubsy, but like I said, I'm not surprised. Dubsy's a big pretty boy that he's a City Swan fan. They're not pretty boys, these guys. Yeah, it's true, Mick. Swan. You know it's true.
Yeah, they're soft. Yeah.
Just because Heaney's the pretty boy, but he's star, mate. I told you, I've tipped him to make the grand final this year. They're 2-0. They're looking really good. I've recruited the big ruckman. Take him to win again. But I think the plus 30 is a bit too high. Like I said, Bombers was the only one I thought about going minus. Take the Swans to win, Bombers to cover.
No, and with all my whatever, they are on a good little run, Mick, aren't they? The last couple of years,
oh, yeah.
Like I said, they're getting good. Like they're in their heyday here right now. They just happened to screw me one night when I had like $2,200 on them, and I lost a couple of bets earlier, and I was drunk. Right, it was like 4 a.m. I was drunk, and they blew like a 30 or 40 point lead that night. Right, they were up big. And I ended up losing, and I just melted down. And it's just one of those, I'll never forgive them for that night. Like,
We've all melted down, Gabe. I love it. Australia rules football.
In week 1, they got me, too. They beat Collingwood. Like I said, now I'm whatever. Like, now they get me no matter what.
That always screw you in any league, even AFL.
I'm going to hammer them tonight on the money line. We're going to make it even tonight. As long as they don't screw me tonight.
This is not going to end well.
I'm taking Sydney like on a parlay with a bunch of stuff tomorrow. Get a head start on tomorrow with the Sydney Swans. I'll take Sydney and Yukon to win the championship or something like that. I'll figure something out. Yeah. Western Bulldogs and Gold Coast, Mick. Western Bulldogs minus 9.5. Minus 170 on the money line.
That's a tight one.
Yep. Toughest game of the round to pick. My dad went the Suns. I've stuck with the Dogs. It's at Mars. The Dogs have won 6 of the last games at Mars, which is Ballarat. It's in a dip. It's the old gold mining town. Suns are 2-0 though, but I think the Dogs might get it done. Again, take the Suns on the plus. Dogs, maybe. Very tough one to pick. Toughest of the week.
And Cam, I know you and Steve Merrill were fascinated by the amount of Bulldogs in the tournament. Here's another Bulldog, Western Bulldogs. They're all over the place.
I got to be honest with you.
People got to
There's so many
drop
other-
his name. It's a lame
Thank
name.
you.
It's a kid's name.
I
It's
agree.
like if you're a 12-year-old Pop Warner team or something. I get it. All right,
Like,
we're the Bulldogs.
Even
but
Geelong, they
you're
go
a pro team.
Cats. They don't do Wildcats and Cougars. And like, come on,
Yeah,
guys.
Geelong
Like,
Cats is cool. Not Wildcats,
Yeah,
just the
'cause
Cats.
they're
That's good.
cats.
Cats.
Yeah, no Wild, no Cougar, no Lynx. Cats. I'm so sick and tired of these repetitive names. Great call, Morency. At least Australia rules get it done. I'm down with Geelong.
That's Cam's team, the Geelong Cats.
Actually,
They
you know what?
screw me all the
team-
time, too.
My team is the Hawthorne Hawks because I went to public school at Hawthorne. So Hawks have always been my team since I was a young boy. The
Oh,
Hawthorne
they're
Hawks.
playing the Melbourne Demons tonight.
Yeah,
all right, so
that's
Mick-
Clam Chowder's team, is it not, Gabe? Is he a Melbourne Demon? Yeah, I'm in trouble.
Mick, what's the pick? Western and Gold Coast.
Oh, like I said, I think Western Bulldogs, they need the win. Suns away from home when they're a younger team. Be very careful. It's the toughest one of the week. Absolutely it is. Wouldn't be surprised if the Suns keep their winning going, but the Dogs have to win, mate.
Richmond are getting 17.5 points against Port Adelaide.
Well, the Formula One driver, the young fella, Oscar Petrosky, whatever you say, from Australia, he wore a Richmond Tigers jersey in Australia at the opening, but I don't think that's going to help. They're on the down. Port Adelaide Power are looking good, but it's in Melbourne, so be careful. Again, I like the Tigers to maybe cover. I'm taking every team on the plus. The spreads are too high. Port Adelaide to win. They could be a top 4 team this year.
You ever been to the racetrack? It is the Australian Grand Prix this weekend.
Yeah. Well, in Adelaide, I did until Melbourne stole it from us in 1996. I told you that.
From us. I love
He's
you.
not
Stole it from us.
not happy about it. Look at his
They
face.
stole it from him, Brett.
They stole it.
stole
It used to be in
Yeah.
Adelaide. They moved it to Melbourne.
All the money, yeah. Premier played the Bernie Ecclestone, whatever his name is, paid him all this money. Adelaide was killing it. The Melbourne guys love coming to Adelaide. It's like Toronto stealing something from Winnipeg or Edmonton. You know, Toronto's got everything. Well, Melbourne's got everything.
Hey.
Screw them.
Don't look at me, Mick. I got nothing. Okay?
Those son of a bitches in Toronto.
These old Bay Street bootlickers, right, Morency?
Yeah. The Bay Street bootlickers. Too busy.
I love that line.
Too busy.
That was the greatest line. Bay Street bootlickers.
So you say you're taking all the dogs, Mick? We got 20 seconds here. You even, including my West Coast Eagles, plus 47.5. They're pretty bad.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Giants are doing well. Take all the favourites. Money line 1 to 39 is better than money line. You got 1 to 39. You'll see that in the betting sites. Take the Giants to win as well. Eagles have got more injuries, mate. They're injured all the time. And Formula One, it's 2-1 sided, mate. Red Bull just win by a mile. Hope there's a crash on the first corner. That's all I hope.
Thank you, Mick.
He's had enough of Verstappen.
SportsGrid's going to have you covered for this NCAA tournament.
That's the people that we know. When it's win or go home, they love to go home.
Tennessee's now in my phony club. They should all get together and drink green tea.
Furman's gonna have a chance. That is a team I'm betting on right now.
We are feeling this. You are feeling this at home. The excitement and the atmosphere.
Only on SportsGrid.
The NC State game on Saturday against North Carolina that stood out most to me, that they not only went on a 5-day heater like they did in '83 when Valvano took them another 6 games and they won the national championship.
The committee didn't sit there at the beginning of the week and think that Oregon, New Mexico, NC State, Duquesne, they didn't sit there planning for all those teams to go and win.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
I think JMU is going to knock off Wisconsin. I think JMU, with the way that they can score the ball and spread you out, Wisconsin struggles to defend. They're in the bottom third in defensive efficiency.
Iowa State's not going to beat you with offense necessarily. They're just not. Illinois will beat you with offense. I like Illinois. I don't love them enough to beat UConn. You got to guard at some point. Give me Connecticut to make the Final Four.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live, all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart Team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live, prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Well, if this is a battle in a bracket of cheerleaders, I think TCU would be a higher seed than they are with their basketball team. Just saying. I'm just saying, like, you see them all day, so it's sort of like, but you can always tell when you sort of like stop for it, you're like, oh God, like I saw they showed TCU's cheerleaders. They went along the row as they're sitting by the basket. And I was like, oh, damn, these poor girls from Utah, the state, they can't, like, they roll in, like, that's just deflating. That's what I thought of. Like, you roll in and you're the Utah State girls and you look over, just like, oh, God. Like, they're all just playing. It's hilarious. So I get a kick out of the Vermont cheerleaders were gold today. Like, we got to get, like, and Longwood, like I said, Longwood, they just showed a girl. She got like blue hair and like she looks like a punk rock. She got tattoos on her face and stuff like that. So, I like seeing these college kids living the dream. Let's bring in Rob Vino. Cam's got an audio issue here. Rob, good to see you. How you doing tonight?
Good tonight, Gabe. How are you?
Well, Rob, I'm sorry about. Well, listen, they're starting to score a little bit now. I'm on James Madison plus the points. These guys have been an over machine, 8-2 to the over in the last 10. The Badgers 9-1. Games, Wisconsin weren't scoring at all. JMU were doing their part, Rob. 42-31 right now. In-game total has been bumped back up to 133.5. Maybe we can catch lightning in a bottle, get some magic here.
Yeah, I went in at halftime, Gabe, and took a little bit of over. I think it was 128 at the time. So, you would expect that. Wisconsin missed a lot of shots. They got turned over by JMU. Looked like they weren't accustomed to speed. That's kind of funny because they just played Illinois on Sunday, which has a ton of speed. But Illinois just doesn't play the type of in-your-face defense that JMU plays, so maybe a little more contested. But Wisconsin looked really good during that Big Ten run. And certainly you would think that they would have scored a little bit better in the first half. But who knows? These things have all been crazy, right? Trying to guess which team is going to come out of the chute quickly
exactly,
or which favorite
man.
is going to come out of the chute quickly. It's so tough.
Cam,
it really is.
Me and Cam talk about it all the time. I've been bringing it up all the time. I get it. It's during the regular season. I think these numbers matter, Rob. But when you get into the tournament, you hear, oh, this team is ranked this, or they rebound that. They shoot this from three. It doesn't matter. You get into an NCAA tournament game. Some teams choke. Some other teams. No, look at the Golke kid. Great example with Oakland. I saw it today. There was a video today. Kid hit a shot from full court today in practice. He threw it like a baseball and it went in. Right? I mean, if this kid was so good, how come they didn't win more this year, right? Suddenly, he's the lightning in the bottle kid that won't miss suddenly. It's just so random. And a classic example, it happened again tonight with Texas A&M, Rob. where Texas A&M are literally the 9th worst three-point shooting team in all of college basketball. They're literally 348th. And when they shoot tonight from three, like 52% or something stupid, they couldn't miss. One of the kids that kept hitting the threes doesn't even take threes. He just wouldn't miss. Oseki or whatever the hell the kid's name was.
Right.
He kept on like just bombing another three, and he was just laughing. Like he was like, oh, looking surprised and stuff. It's been a wild, like you said, it's like playing Russian roulette, this stuff, Rob.
Yeah, with A&M, it's crazy because they couldn't throw it in the ocean for 26 games to start the year, right? I mean, you count on them. Their best offense was throw it up at the rim and go get it because they're a real good rebounding team. But lately, like the last 4 or 5, if we include tonight, all of a sudden, pace, points, you could attribute a lot of that to SEC defenses when they went through that tourney. They're playing Ole Miss, they're playing Kentucky, they're playing Florida, and you could justify it by saying they don't play any defense the other side, and maybe Texas A&M just got hot. But then they come out and do it again tonight. Of course, Nebraska's not a great defensive team, but to your point, Gabe, it's not going to surprise anybody who's done this for a long time if the kid from Oakland comes out and goes 2 for 9 tomorrow from 3. If A&M comes out on Sunday and, they go 5 for 23 from 3. At some point, the randomness comes back to reality, and trying to guess it over a 6-game stretch, which is the NCAA tournament, if you want to win it, it's kind of hard to figure out where it's going to be. Sometimes it's when they change venues, right? Maybe you can get to the Sweet 16 red hot, then you change venues, all of a sudden you go ice cold. But like you said, there's a lot of guesswork involved here, Gabe. There's some matchup stuff that works. If you look last night at Texas Tech, NC State, and just watch DJ Burns and how small Texas Tech was underneath, just shoulder, knee, shoulder, butt, get a layup. It helped that the refs weren't calling anything, but sometimes you can get matchup disadvantages or advantages that can get you to the winner's circle.
You know what it is, Rob? And Gabe and I have been doing this a long time like you, and a fade was all those teams that won the conference the tournament. And NC State, they're rolling now, Gabe. We talked about this. It's the complete opposite. Like NC State, they slapped Texas Tech around. We were all on Texas Tech. I'm like, they did. It wasn't even close. Like at the end of the game, they just pulled away. All these teams have been good, like Duquesne and everybody else.
Well, not all of them. It's hit or miss.
But Oregon won their tournament. Like I'm just saying, for the most part,
Auburn
usually what?
Yeah, Auburn also won. Auburn also won the SEC tournament.
Good call. But I'm just saying percentages. Fair enough. But I'm just saying it used to be like a fade. Like they won their turn. Like I'm just saying they're doing very, very well.
New Mexico won the Mountain West.
You're breaking down my numbers
destroyed.
A little bit. Okay, so what are we looking at? 5-2? 5-2 or? It's pretty good still, right? Yeah, New Mexico's horrible, though. The world was on New Mexico, though. Like, they were the most popular team to go to the Sweet 16 out of everybody. You know that.
With some, yeah. And now Utah State going on a run, 43-35. 50 seconds left. Speaking of points here, 160 and a half now, Rob. Did you play the total of this game before tip-off?
Yeah, I don't need the in-game because I'm in at 49.5. I'm in on Utah State's team total of over 72.5. So I had it 2 different ways here. Hopefully things keep going. But again, this is a game where, you know how I handicap, Gabe. Matchups is all that really matters to me. And it seemed like this stylistic matchup was going to breed points. I think there was some take back on the total today. Open 48.5, got pushed all the way to 51. And then today you see it come back to 49. And 49.5 in some spots, so people trying to catch a middle. But they're playing to form right now. TCU, for what it's worth, the 31st quickest length of possession on offense in the country, and they lead the country in fast break points. Utah State will go either way. They'll go slow, they'll go fast. I think they prefer to go a little bit more up-tempo and score. So we'll see if it holds, but right now it looks pretty good.
I think your 49 is looking really good. I don't even mind the 62.5 because I think the TCU are going to go on a run here in the second half. I think it's going to be one of these wild, close games with a couple of minutes left. I couldn't resist the low number. I like going contrarian all the time with these St. Mary's games, Rob. And it's funny because people are always talking about, oh, well, Grand Canyon want to play this and St. Mary's want to just play slow. St. Mary's score more points per game than Grand Canyon do. So, perception and reality are two different things. But with that being stated, some people bet this thing up. It closed at 132. I'm in at 131 here, Rob, and I'm also on the Lopes plus the points. What did you do with this game?
I liked Grand Canyon. Not especially strong, but I liked them because of the amount of points they were getting. Hard to bet against St. Mary's just because of what you described, Gabe. And it's interesting when you look at numbers, and we all do it. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. We talk about slow tempo, this, that. A lot of times it's on the defensive end. Your tempo is skewed because you to lock in half court and make teams use 30 some odd seconds to shoot the basketball. So sometimes that tempo stuff is overrated, and St. Mary's is so efficient that kind of negates the slowness that they play with.
More with the awesome Rob Dino and Cam Stewart on the other side. The Friday Night Free Show continues.
SportsGrid's going to have you covered for this NCAA tournament.
That's the movie that we know. When it's win or go home, they love to go home.
Tennessee's now in my phony club. They should all get together and drink green tea.
Furman's going to have a chance. That is a team I'm betting on right now.
We are feeling this. You are feeling this at home. The excitement and the atmosphere.
Only on SportsGrid.
The NC State game on Saturday against North Carolina that stood out most to me, that they not only went on a 5-day heater like they did in '83 when Valvano took them another 6 games and they won the national championship.
The committee didn't sit there at the beginning of the week and think that Oregon, New Mexico, NC State, Duquesne, they didn't sit there planning for all those teams to go and win.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I think JMU is going to knock off Wisconsin. I think JMU, with the way that they can score the ball and spread you out, Wisconsin struggles to defend. They're in the bottom third in defensive efficiency.
Iowa State's not going to beat you with offense necessarily. They're just not. Illinois will beat you with offense. I like Illinois. I don't love them enough to beat UConn. You got to guard at some point. Give me Connecticut to make the Final Four.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live, all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart Team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live, prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
SportsRage continues. I am Gabriel Morency. Grand Canyon up 16-15 on St. Mary's. In-game total 130.5, pretty much where we started. 43-37 at the half right now. Utah State up on TCU. Should be a fun second half of basketball. The total is 161.5. It was what they just made it 162.5, but at plus 115. So it's 43-37 at the half. 49-40 right now for the Dukes over the Badgers. James Madison is winning as a 5-point underdog. Rob talked about pulling the trigger at 129. I'm about to lose the 144. And how about today, too? Dear God. I've had a pretty good day today. I've gotten lucky a couple of times, but there was one. I can't squawk too much, Rob, because of the circumstance of Florida Atlantic and Northwestern. But I played the over. And after all that, I lost by 1 point. And the kid bricked a free throw at the end. I'm like, I can't believe this. And I was like, you had no business winning this bet anyway, so don't get upset. But I was like, but, dude, like, if you would have hit those free throws, like, we actually would have won this bet somehow. And I got a bad number. I bet 143. It was 142.5. It didn't matter in the end, but I would have bought the half point probably and gotten a pull. Like, man, that was frustrating. But let me ask you, because I was tweeting about it, what is it, because not everybody knew what I was talking about, what is it about the Barclays Center and college kids, Rob? I don't get it. It's a pro floor, it's a pro backboard, you got a pro rim. Is it the darkness of the building? Those A10 tourney games are like death, right? Like it's Brick City. And it was the same thing today, man. Northwestern and FAU. It was like they were playing on the Titanic and it was sinking. And they were shooting like on a sinking, like it was sideways, right? And then finally they figured it out in the second half. I don't know what it is. UConn, right? So it's a little bit different, whatever. Plus UConn, they play in New York. They're in the area all the time. I don't get it, though. I don't get it, Rob, about that damn building, why kids can't shoot there.
Yeah, and if JMU Wisconsin stays under, you got 4 games there today and 4 more unders, right? Like you say, UConn's the only team that really shot it well because they're that good. Vermont, for what it's worth, as a low major, is generally a very, very good effective field goal percentage shooting team, and they couldn't make a shot against Duke. And it's not that Duke is, any version of the 96 Miami Heat defense or anything. So, yeah, there's something about that building, Gabe. It was brought to my attention in the first round of the A10 tournament before it started by a guy who said, hey, last couple of years here, nobody can score. And sure enough, it panned out. Now, the A10 is not a great group of offensive teams, so you can almost justify it in your mind, well, these guys can't score anyway. So it makes
that's what I always thought. I was like, these teams suck. That's what I always thought.
Suck, Morency, in that building. You've been there multiple times. Maybe it just rattles guys.
No,
it is dark.
Right?
No, the lighting is awesome. But the thing is, they have lighting that nobody else has. Okay. The only other people, the Crypt has it, the Staples Center in LA. It's like badass, more expensive lighting, Cam. Like it's like that's why it throws people off. It's basically pitch black in the stands. So basically, if you're a player, you don't see the fans very much. It's not pitch black, but you don't see a couple of rows up. You know what I'm saying? And they want it like all eyes are on the stage, all eyes are on the court, right? And it's sort of like old boxing. Remember, you see any old boxing pictures, you can't really see the stands. It's dark, and they have lights just over the ring type of thing, right? But I don't know what it's like modern light that they have. It threw NBA players off at first, but they all liked it. They were like, "Oh, it's super cool and it's easy on the eyes and stuff like that." But I think it's the backdrop, because the biggest thing, people talk about sight lines, and I'm not a great shooter, but I know from shooting basketball a lot is, and I played, like I said, I've been in 3-point contests and stuff. And once I really choked because I couldn't get the depth perception. It's the damn roof. Like if you're used to that's like the stadiums throw people off. There's no roof. Basically a lot, if you're a Vermont Catamount, Rob, you're playing in that, what's the Allen Gym or whatever it's called? The Patrick Gym. What is it, Tommy? The Patrick Gym? You're playing, dude, it's like a barn. It's like a barn. You know what I'm saying? So suddenly you're in this big arena. You're not used to It really screws kids up, and this arena's whacked. I gotta tell you. So let's get Rob's picks for tomorrow. Could have swore it was the Allen Fieldhouse, but something like that.
Allen Fieldhouse is.
No, but it was the same thing in. But it thought it was the same thing. Same thing in Kansas, but it was the same thing in Vermont. I thought.
Yeah, Kansas.
But anyways,
yeah.
Let's get to tomorrow's games. And I hope you like stuff here, Rob, because I have a hard time when I look at the card here.
I hope you like stuff. That's the best.
I'm going to start off with a game that I do like. I'll start off at the back end of the rotation. Creighton and Oregon. I'm going to stand my ground. I don't know if the Ducks are the ones to do it, but I think Creighton and Marquette are both overrated. So I guess I'm sort of with the committee. I don't really think very much of the Big East. It's okay, but I don't think they scare teams in these tournament games. I'm worried about the Ducks running out of gas at some point in time. They've been on such a run, but they're playing. It's not like fluky. They've got guys that are just dominant, man. Right? Like they're dominating on the actual court itself. So I am intrigued by getting the 5 there. The total is 146. Duquesne are getting 10 against Illinois on the night card tomorrow. 148 is the total. What do you think about the late games tomorrow, Rob?
Well, first off, where Oregon's concerned, the one thing you worry about is, do you have anybody that can match up with Kalkbrenner for Creighton, right? And they do. Dante obviously matches up with Kalkbrenner. Good point for Oregon. And then I think the backcourts match up really well here, Gabe. And it's, if, for what it's worth, Creighton is one of those teams that is, I don't want to call them Jekyll and Hyde because they win way more than they lose. But where point spreads are concerned, off of a route, I very seldom expect Creighton to come with 2 point spread blowouts in a row. So I could see that game being close. They bet it down from 6 to 5. I could see it being more defensive than offensive. 2 great head coaches there. I don't know if you can favor either one.
And Cousineau, too. So you talked about Natale Dante, and he kept it going. I was wondering after he went 12 for 12 against Colorado, I was like, well, probably a good game. And he went 11-11 or 10 for 10 in the first game against Colorado. So I was like, I don't know, maybe it's just a Colorado thing that they can't stop him, whatever. He's just dominant. And the Cousineau kid, the kid went off for 40 in the last game. He was going off in Vegas last week as well. Let's not forget, they are the Nike school, right? So they're kind of just playing up to what they're supposed to play like, Rob, to be honest.
A lot of injuries this year. Gabe kind of side-railed them or derailed them, and now they're somewhat healthy. And Altman's put together a little bit of a different philosophy where they're going to play methodical half-court style, and if they can get Creighton into that, Creighton will play it, but you'll find a lower-scoring game where 5 becomes a little bit bigger. In the Duquesne-Illinois matchup, it's Keith Dambrot's been a great coach for a long, long time, but if I could trust Illinois to play a lick of defense, Gabe, I would play them. They don't play any defense. I think I'd rather play total in that game. Just betting Illinois over blindly. And here's where guys like me kick myself, right? Going in that these SEC offenses, and this doesn't include an SEC game. I'm just trying to make a point here. These SEC offenses, Auburn, Alabama, Florida, Kentucky, so on and so forth, that all they do is score. If all you do was just blindly bet those games over, you're 6-2 betting SEC overs right now. So why not? Illinois showing you the same thing. Brad Underwood has told you time and time again, my team is soft. I don't know that Duquesne can slow them down. Congratulations winning their first game, but I think you're liable to see points there.
Great. I agree with you. Great breakdown. Big swing here in this game. So Wisconsin cut the lead to 7. It was 52-45. Kid on the Badgers goes in, got kind of cute, tried to do some sort of weird. It was a fancy layup that he tried, sort of behind he would no look type of deal. He thought he got fouled, but he didn't. The ball looked like it was going to go in. It rolled around. And it was like, wow, they're going to cut the lead to 5, right? Doesn't go in. Boom. James Madison sticks a 3 at the other side.
Huge. Just
like that. What a swing. Instead, it was like a 5-point swing. Instead of cutting the lead to 5, they popped it back up to 10. And as far as Rob, you played the 129, you said at the half, 129.5. 131.5 right now. But I'm pretty comfortable with this. I think we're going to get there, dude. We're at 100 right now, and Wisconsin are back in this game.
Yeah, if you can keep that little, it would have been nice to be, and there's still a lot of time left, but it would be nice to be somewhere in the 5 to 8 range, 2 minutes left, and then we'll get that foul score on the other end, and you accumulate a lot of points last 90 seconds that way. So, yeah, it looks like they're right in this thing where total is concerned in game.
Texas and Tennessee. The SEC has been struggling in this tournament, except Texas A&M looked awesome, obviously, tonight. And we've got the Texas Longhorns, who I don't know. Were they great, or was it that the Colorado State were that bad? I'm not really sure. What do you make of this matchup, Rob? And these damn totals are all the same, man. They're all like 146, 146 and a half.
You're right.
They really are. NC State Oakland, 146 and a half. Texas, Tennessee, 146 and a half. Duquesne, Illinois, 148. Oregon, Creighton, 146.
Dayton, Arizona, 149.
Dayton, Arizona, 149. Yeah, no, they're all there.
I looked at the board earlier. I said it, Rob. I just got angry when I looked at the screen. I was like, oh, God, I don't know.
I just got angry.
SportsGrid's going to have you covered for this NCAA tournament.
That's the movie that we know. When it's win or go home, they love to go home.
Tennessee's now in my phony club. They should all get together and drink green tea.
Truman's going to have a chance. That is a team I'm betting on right now.
We are feeling this. You are feeling this at home. The excitement and the atmosphere.
Only on SportsGrid.
The NC State game on Saturday against North Carolina that stood out most to me, that they not only went on a 5-day heater like they did in '83 when Valvano took them another 6 games and they won the national championship.
The committee didn't sit there at the beginning of the week and think that Oregon, New Mexico, NC State, Duquesne, they didn't sit there planning for all those teams to go and win.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
I think JMU is going to knock off Wisconsin. I think JMU, with the way that they can score the ball and spread you out, Wisconsin struggles to defend. They're in the bottom third in defensive efficiency.
Iowa State's not going to beat you with offense necessarily. They're just not. Illinois will beat you with offense. I like Illinois. I don't love them enough to beat UConn. You got to guard at some point. Give me Connecticut to make the Final Four.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live, all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live, prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. If you guys are wondering what happens during the commercial breaks, I was just wondering on it. I'm burnt out. I haven't slept much this week. So, well, the Dodgers have been playing. And, Rob, there's an investigation now in Ohtani. Baseball's open investigation now.
God.
We ever imagine this happening, Rob? We signed Ohtani, 7 all this. Like, dear God. Like, now we're getting Pete Rose here. Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. They signed Trevor Bauer for all that money.
Yeah, Major League Baseball has been gathering information since we learned about the allegations involving Shohei Ohtani and Ippei Miyazori from the news media. Earlier today, our department investigators. So, in other words, like baseball's admitting, we're totally clueless and know nothing. We found out in the media.
Exactly. Hey, guys, you got an investigator on the case.
The NFL has FBI agents calling Goodell. Odell just left the bar. He's not doing anything. It's okay. Like, you know what I mean? Baseball's like, wow, we found out in the media. We had no idea the biggest star of our league was under investigation.
Like calling a former cop. Is that you want to get on the case? Oh, whatever you say, man. Yeah, you're right, Randy. What a gong show. That's embarrassing. Like, get on top of it. That's weak.
Either that or they're lying. So it's one of those. It's like it's the catch-22. You're either incompetent or you're lying. Which one is it?
I tell you what, if Ohtani was gambling, they're going to have to lie because I think they want to preserve him. I don't think they want to kick him out of baseball the way they did Pete Rose.
He's a prize. You can't get rid of this guy. He's a cash cow.
If he would have bet on baseball, we would have known. The FBI knows like what everybody bet on. Like the FBI wouldn't have sat on it. Like it would have been in the report. But at the same point in time, I don't know. I mean, I can't speak factually. At the same point in time, I also know that the report also said that various Major League Baseball players bet with the guy. Paul Bovey dropped just casually to us the other day. Oh, yeah. That guy, like 3 Angels, owe that guy a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And Bovey didn't even know the Ohtani story, Rob. Yeah. He didn't even know the Ohtani. He goes, what? He goes, I don't know anything. He goes, what happened? I tell him, and I said, I told him the story, Orange County, this and that. And he goes, oh, yeah. And he goes, well, I don't really know much. And then he evidently did know everything because he goes, well, but I can tell you this. I start dropping. He goes, oh, yeah, I know there's three Angel players, actually, because not Ohtani, but 3 other Angels, actually, bet a lot and racked up a lot of debt. And it turned Yasiel Puig. Remember Yasiel Puig do you remember that, Rob? Yasiel Puig?
I do.
He was betting with the same guy. Same guy. Same guy. So point blank, this guy is the bookie to Major League Baseball players. Point blank.
Yeah, they came in the Dodgers locker room after Puig.
That's what you're right. That's how you come with us.
Oh, man.
Poor Baffin playing in the Venezuelan league.
Let's call it out for what it is, though. If it was Alex Manoah, like, they would be like, oh, Ohtani is not just like, he is everything. He is global. It's not just about the Dodgers, baseball, everything. Like
no. They need this to go away fast. They need to come out and say he didn't bet, case closed. The interpreter's a degenerate gambler, and we don't know anything about him.
He's horrible influence. Get him out of here.
This really is like a TV show, though. I could just imagine, like, the interpreter, like, calling Ohtani and going, "You told everyone I stole $4 million from you."
Yeah,
like, can you imagine if it's not true? Like, you know what I mean? I was putting in bets, and then you tell people I stole money. I'm going to go to jail for a $4 million theft. What's Ohtani? Well, my image is too big. You must protect me.
Absolutely.
So someone must be.
If he did go to jail, when he comes out of jail, Gabe, there's going to be a nice briefcase loaded with gems and
I don't believe. I'm telling you, Ohtani wasn't in on it. The interpreter is not from Japan. He's from Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's clearly a degenerate that was racking up a bunch of debt and stuff like that. But nevertheless, so people are wondering about suspensions and stuff. Ohtani is allowed to play while this goes on. The only people that get suspended pending investigation is if it's for a violent issue. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you domestic abuse, violent issue. So this is. And the whole thing is, the media now knows, but the FBI knows the whole story. and he would have been named by now. It would have been, oh my God. Like, you know what I mean? I'll tell you, like, you can't hide federal reports. Like, that's how this story came out. The LA Times got the federal indictment. Like, every federal indictment is public. They might redact some names if they want, right? They might take out, they can black out a name if they want, but they have to release it to the public. So it would say, you know what I mean? A Major League Baseball player lost $4 million, like point blank. It would name Ohtani in the federal indictment, and it does not. He is not under investigation for anything now except baseball. And as you guys stated, they're going to just sweep this under the carpet and move on.
We can't go through that game. We're looking for a World Series this year. Come on, Ohtani, just hit the ball.
I told Cam the other night, I'm already mad about the middle of our order. Now we got this going on. Yamamoto. Wasn't a great trip for us. Yamamoto got murdered there, Rob. He got lit up.
First inning. Just Rob, game one.
$200 million pitcher got, I don't know. These Japanese guys, Cam, they're all supposed to be about honor and all this stuff. We gave you $1 billion, and we got an FBI investigation going on.
You put a Japanese
coming off our Trevor Bauer signing.
Where goes the honor? And I'll tell you, Rob, this team's a 105-win team. Red's like, I'm concerned about the middle of our orders. I say, relax.
I don't blame you.
No, thank you.
Come on.
I'm already. I'm on the phone with my dad last night, and I'm saying, please move Gavin Lux up to 5 and get Muncy the hell out of there before I have to rip another hair out of my head.
I said night one after in the morning. These guys are like, oh, good. I'm like, Max. What did I say on the show, kid? Rob, night one after the first game, I come on. I said, I don't think our batting order is right. I said, I don't think we need to break this up. Right? I swear to God, Rob. I didn't like our batting order. Our infield defense is pathetic, bro. Like, we can't defend anything. Like, we got problems. And now we're under indictment.
And
under federal investigation.
We got problems.
Real quick, if Jake Cronenworth in game one plays with a glove that actually has a webbing in it, then they probably don't win game one either. But I've never seen anything like that where a routine one hopper goes right through a guy's glove and into right field. So we'll take it.
Thank God. I had a lot of money on that game. So 68, 54. James Madison's going to do it, guys.
122.
Oh, here it is. Here's another one. Dunk it. Oh, he missed the layup. Oh, you got to be kidding me, kid. Yeah, we were all alone.
Oh, there it is. What are they up here?
Oh, the Badgers just hit a 3. We needed that because we can't have Wisconsin, sort of. All right, we're getting there.
Game a little bit.
We're up to 125. Rob, you're at 129, and I got 131.5. I was hoping we could get to 144, man. Not going to happen.
Nope.
Disappointing. 25-24 with a minute left in the first half. St. Mary's and Grand Canyon. Oh, 26-25. Grand Canyon just hit it too. So TCU and Utah State, guys, 47-41. The second half is underway.
I'm going to tell you, Gabe, I like Utah State. They're going to win this game.
They're minus 3.5 right now.
I'm going to take
I don't know. There's a lot of basketball left.
I don't want to be that guy. I like to make a big team thing. You and Vino are Dodger guys, whatever. Like, I'm telling you, this is the one team from the Mountain West. They're going to figure it out. TCU's another one of those teams like New Mexico. I don't believe. No, I like Utah State. I'm sorry. I don't want to be that guy, but I am going to be that guy.
Yeah, because you have that great Osborne jersey, right, Cam? Oh, man.
I love you, Rob. You're the best.
It's late on the East Coast here, guys. I haven't slept in like 4 days.
Rob.
That's what I said. That's what I said. The Dodger games, the tournament.
Yeah.
I'm even watching.
I did a radio hit at 6:30 in the morning as a guest.
Wow.
On another show. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It was
that's
9:30 Eastern, 6:30.
Okay.
No, 3:30 would be easy for me.
Yeah.
6:30 in the morning was not so easy. 3:30 would be fine.
It's in that window. Yeah, you're right.
What do you think of Gonzaga and the Kansas game, Rob? Totals 151.5 in this one. How about the Samford, Kansas last night? That was a gift from the over gods. What about this one?
And that was a gift from the referees, too, because what a clean block at the end of that game for Samford. And, KU got saved. Honestly, Gabe, I don't think KU is long for this tournament, so I might go side rather than total and be on Gonzaga in that game. But if I had to play it, I would certainly play total over. KU only knows one style, and that's rapid pace. Gonzaga, we saw the other day, can certainly rack up points. We know that anyway. So you'd have to look over there. I don't see much in the way of defense. Gonzaga just scores better, and without McCullough, it's kind of tough for KU. I think Arizona, real quick, I'll just ramble here real quick. I think Arizona in the very first game is probably worth a play against Dayton. I just can't see these A-10 teams advancing anywhere. And Arizona might have had their scare first half yesterday because second half they came out like Tommy Lloyd had lit a fire under them. At some point, Tommy Lloyd will probably, lose in this tournament, but I don't think it'll be tomorrow. So as far as that Salt Lake City region is concerned, I'd probably be there, Arizona and Gonzaga.
I like North Carolina. I think North Carolina are being underrated. I think they're going to beat Michigan State. But how about Washington State and Iowa State? We've been talking about all these sort of more offensive-minded teams. The total is 129 in this game. I'm almost surprised it's this high.
Yeah.
To be honest. Like, we think about it, like, you know what I mean? Like, with these two teams, Iowa State and Washington State, Iowa State are 6.5-point favorites in this game. What do you make of this one?
And it's come down, right? They opened at 8. So it's funny, Gabe, because talking with a colleague of mine, good friend of all of ours, Teddy Savransky, and Teddy said, I go around Las Vegas, he says, and talk to a lot of people inside the community. And to a T, everybody feels like Washington State is overrated. And they were all against Washington State last night. All the money was on Drake. I happened to play Washington State. It wound up being the right side. I don't know that they're underrated, to tell you the truth. This could be a real close game here. Iowa State's very good defensively and capable offensively, but if you get into a grind, 6.5 looks like a lot of points with the WSU side.
That line tells you something. And one thing that Washington State has, that long kid inside, Gabe, he's a stud. He's relentless on the glass. Like, you saw what he did to Drake at the end of the game. Offensive rebound, put back, spin around, put back. And then their guard play, I know they're freshmen, but Washington State's one of those teams, they're not scared. And Iowa State can go through scoring droughts. I think people are looking at 6.5 going, it's a gift. I'm with Vino. I disagree. I think Washington State, this game is going to come down to the wire, man. They're being disrespected.
Pac-12's on a pretty good roll.
It's amazing how we talked about all the totals are the same and the point spreads, all these 6.5s.
Yeah, it's almost, like looking at a preseason slate game.
Yeah, it's almost like 5 in football. The odds makers are saying, you guys decide. Here, we're gonna make it this 6 and 146, and you tell us if it's going over, under, who's covering.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're not like locked in on anything here. It seems like Oakland and NC State. I'm riding Oakland. I'm gonna ride the wave. I say that Golke keeps this thing going.
I'll play it over.
Over. Let's get that video up.
SportsGrid's going to have you covered for this NCAA tournament.
That's the movie that we know. When it's win or go home, they love to go home.
Tennessee's now in my phony club. They should all get together and drink green tea.
Truman's going to have a chance. That is a team I'm betting on right now.
We are feeling this. You are feeling this at home. The excitement and the atmosphere.
Only on SportsGrid.
The NC State game on Saturday against North Carolina that stood out most to me, that they not only went on a 5-day heater like they did in '83 when Valvano took them another 6 games and they won the national championship.
The committee didn't sit there at the beginning of the week and think that Oregon, New Mexico, NC State, Duquesne, they didn't sit there planning for all those teams to go and win.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I think JMU is going to knock off Wisconsin. I think JMU, with the way that they can score the ball and spread you out, Wisconsin struggles to defend. They're in the bottom third in defensive efficiency.
Iowa State's not going to beat you with offense necessarily. They're just not. Illinois will beat you with offense. I like Illinois. I don't love them enough to beat UConn. You got to guard at some point. Give me Connecticut to make the Final Four.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats and fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the
All
rim.
I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live, all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live, prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Rob Vino needed 4 points with 3 minutes left in the basketball game. I needed 7 points. We were dreaming about the 143, 144. They have not scored since. Like Wisconsin were just literally under the basket and could not put it back in. And literally, you're like 6'10", bro. It's 68-57 with $1:30 left. They're both in the bonus. So if you're Wisconsin, either figure it out. Either start fouling them or get a damn steal. Let's get some damn points here on the way out. And speaking of getting on the way out, find Rob Vino over at Wager Talk. Next week, we got the UFL starting, so don't worry. Even though there's the tournament, we're going to have some football picks for you next week. Can't wait for the United Football League debut. USFL and the XFL have merged. But we'll get you out of here, Rob, with what do you like tomorrow? What's a game you want to share with us, side or total, that you like tomorrow in the tournament?
I really think up top, Gabe, I like Tennessee. I think Tennessee is the one SEC team that probably can run deep here. I mentioned I like Arizona a little bit, and I like the Oakland-NC State game over the total. Kevin Keats' team is playing his style right now, which is up and down, score a lot of points, don't play a heck of a lot of defense. Maybe Oakland can do what they did last night and, score with them. So 146 to me looked a little bit low. I see 146.5 now, a little bump in that number.
Yeah, everything's 146. 146. All right, we're up to 147.
But what you talked about liking UNC. How about UNC Michigan State over that 140.5? Can Michigan State really defend these guys? I wondered.
No, and you know what? I thought that the UNC total was far too light in their opener at $130. That's 133 against Wagner, and then we easily cashed that. Dude, the people are sleeping on the Tar Heels. They're not even favored to win their region, even though they're a 1 seed. I mean, people like Arizona more than they do, and they're on a collision course. So we'll see how it plays out. Rob Vino, awesome stuff, Rob. Great to have you back. Glad you're feeling well. Thanks for taking the time to be with us.
Thanks for having me, guys. Have a good weekend.
You too, Rob.
Well, we talked a lot. People always talk about sleepers and stuff. My sleeper's actually coming through. James Madison, Samford covered last night, but I said James Madison would beat Wisconsin outright, and they're going to beat Duke. I'm picking them to be. I said this on Mayo Show. I said it on all the shows through the week. I got James Madison making it through to the Sweet 16. They're going to beat the Duke Blue Devils, I believe, after they finish this game off. It's 70-59 right now with 1:05 left. They're on the free throw line. We're moving in on our in-game bet at 131.5 here as they just hit 130. But until we've won the bet, man, it ain't, until I can see the check mark and the money, it's not a win. Wow, Utah State, actually. TCU went on a run and cut the lead to like 3 or 4. Now, Utah State have just popped it back up to 8. It's 57-49 right now for the Utah State Aggies. The total is 161.5 in-game. Should be a frantic finish of this game. And it should be noted TCU already have committed 4 fouls. Utah State only have 2 fouls. So eventually here, Utah State's going to be on the free throw line. Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about now. It's 72-59. Come on, man. Like, Wisconsin aren't fouling now.
Nope.
Wisconsin aren't fouling now because they don't care. And we're stuck at 131. I need another half a point here. And Wisconsin might not even try to score after this. That's a foul. How the hell's that not a foul, ref? Dude. Like, all right, we got it. 133. Barely.
Sweat job. You said it, man. None of this stuff, there's no
See,
loss,
after all
there's
that,
no nothing. Wow.
I needed 7 points, Cam, in 3 minutes, and I only won by half a point.
Yeah, because you're ahead of me, they're going to dribble it out right now. Exactly. That little layup won you the bet. Unbelievable.
The refs didn't want to. They were like, the game's over. We're not stuck.
Yeah, actually,
Dude,
you're right. The refs,
there was a collision. There was like, bang, buddy fell. It's like, oh, it's a foul. You knocked him over. But that's what led to the turnover. He picked it up and laid it in. It's like, dude.
Surprised the ref didn't tackle the guy going up for the layup. Under. We can't have it go over. Good for James Madison. I have them winning 2 games as well, Morency. Good sleeper, not just cover, win outright. Very impressive win. Wisconsin's not a bad team. You know what I like about James Madison, too, when you look at them? A lot of these higher seeds are scared. They were confident the whole game. They look like they've been there, done that. They're a very, very astute crew, and I like the way they roll. They're way better than a 12 seed. That's actually disrespecting them. They're good.
Oh, yeah, they're a 30-plus win team that's used to winning, and their conference isn't terrible either. One team I was a little caught off guard by, it's hit or miss with this stuff. I thought college with Charleston would do a little bit better against Alabama, but
me too.
Even big-time teams wouldn't beat Alabama when Bama's playing like that. They caught lightning in a bottle, and they weren't missing their shots tonight. So the Houston Cougars win. The Houston Cougars, of course, win the basketball game, and they cover the number. And the game goes, depending on when you bet it, it ended up at 132. So they won by 40, 86-46. And they were laying 24 points. Soft line right there. Easy cover for the Houston Cougars. We go 2-0 in the Cougar game, and we bet it pretty big